Hello, my name is Travis Knight, and today we will be talking about extreme weather conditions. Weather conditions play an important role for aircrafts. Not only does the weather affect the equipment, it can also affect the pilot. These weather conditions can impair a VFR flight as well as an IFR flight. It's no wonder many aircraft accidents are due to weather conditions. Of all the aircraft accidents due to weather, just under 50% are from the wind. Turbulence can vary in severity, from light bumps to extreme airspeed or altitude variations. One well known area of turbulence is the jet stream. Now, the jet stream may seem intimidating, but it is actually common practice to use the jet stream to shorten the flight time of an aircraft. Wind shear is the change of wind speed or altitude in a short distance. To an aircraft, this can be devastating, like the Dallas-Fort Worth crash. This can occur at any altitude and should concern pilots during takeoff and landing. Wind shearing from a tailwind to a headwind can cause a nose-up pitch, and the opposite can occur with a headwind to a tailwind. A thunderstorm is one of the most hazardous to an aircraft because it packs all the hazards into one. Thunderstorms can create lightning that can strike an aircraft. They can also hold all types of precipitation, from hail to snow to rain. As well, updrafts and downdrafts can be present in that weather system. The worst part of a thunderstorm is that there is no correlation between what a thunderstorm looks like and what it may contain. Thunderstorms themselves always indicate turbulence, so pilots should be aware. Icing on an aircraft occurs during the right temperature and when flying through moisture. Moisture not only means rain, snow, and hail, but just clouds alone can cause icing. Icing can be rime, clear, or mixed. Rime forms when droplets freeze immediately, having a rough texture and milky color. Clear is when the moisture freezes and spreads over the exterior. It being clear and movable makes this very dangerous. Mixed is obviously both types. Fog can be formed in two ways. Air can be cooled to saturation, or enough moisture is added to the air until the same saturation occurs. Fog forms when the temperature to dew point spread is 5 degrees. Fog tends to occur early in the morning or at dusk. Pilots arriving at a destination near dusk with decreasing temperatures should be concerned with fog. With such, precautions should be taken to detect fog early and have fuel reserved for alternative routes. Cloud cover can cause illusions that can create visual impairment and poor decision making for pilots. Volcanic ash is also very dangerous. It can be difficult to discern a regular cloud from an ash cloud when a good distance from the eruption. The ash is abrasive and can pit the windscreen, clog the pitot static system, and cause instrument failures. As well, damage to the engine can occur from such an abrasive material entering both piston and jet systems. While all instruction will tell you to avoid high wind and extreme weather situations, there are the few brave souls who will risk their life in order to understand these extreme weather conditions. The pilots and meteorological crew members who track storms down to observe the forces within are referred to as hurricane hunters. These hurricane hunters deliberately fly in as low as safety permits to collect data via specialized instruments. You might think they fly over these storms and enter into the eye. You would be wrong. These storms could top out at over 50,000 feet. The aircraft can't possibly climb that high and enter. They typically enter at 1,000 to 10,000 feet. With such high wind and turbulent environment, how does the aircraft not become immediately destroyed? Wind shear is what causes the most damage to aircraft, and in a hurricane there is not too much wind shear. There is a multitude of available resources for pilots to gain information about weather before a flight. A beginning stage of a flight plan is to take a look at a weather chart. This is a graphic chart that depicts current weather forecasts. This typically includes the movement of major weather systems and fronts. ATC radar, or air traffic control radar, are radar stations that detect precipitation levels. Unfortunately, ATC radar does not support detection of turbulence. Better suited to give a comprehensive visual of weather is the next RAD system. This system contains weather surveillance radar through the country and overseas. NextRad, as many systems, they all have limitations, which is why a pilot should use multiple sources to gather data before a flight. In order to make an accurate flight plan, a pilot must understand the data which is given with weather charts, maps, and reports. There's a significant amount of routes a pilot can take to collect the information needed. Once the pilot has the information, next it is to understand what the information means to you as a pilot and as a pilot who could be flying near hazardous weather. If at any time you are unsure of yourself, don't perform the flight. Weather affects a pilot in three ways: visibility, turbulence, and aircraft performance. If the flight still seems plausible, make a big picture of where you will fly, where you may need to avoid weather, your escape options, fuel, and always be honest with yourself. It's much easier to wait out bad weather than the possibility of flying in a deteriorating situation. Often, pre-flight planning does not show a severe enough weather to cancel a flight. In these cases, pilots may take off and evaluate the weather as they go. To do so, a pilot can use his or her eyes to visually see what the weather is doing. As well, ATC and EFAS can help ensure your pre-flight weather evaluation is still good. After obtaining the information, evaluate the situation. Again, with your eyes are great at telling you what is happening forward in your route. Though your eyes can adapt and may not see the subtle changes, it is always best to use data and your eyes. The weather has changed from the pre-flight plan and requires a different course of action. Be honest and trust yourself to do what it takes to land or avoid the weather. Continually assess your situation and never make assumptions. If you must detour, notify ATC of your actions, and if weather is deteriorating, trust your eyes. Lastly, I would like to conclude this presentation with the questions to my fellow classmates. What is the one thing you should do if you suspect weather is deteriorating?